What is up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 AI tools that every business owner needs to know in 2026. Now let's jump into it. Number one, we're going to have Chat GPT, and I'm going to place Chat GPT on A tier, and it's not the reasons you're thinking. Now, you might already know ChatGPT. In fact, I guarantee you probably do. You've probably used it, and you might be like, "What's so special about ChatGPT?" It's great. It was first. But there's other products that I use, and it's more of like this mediocre thing that like your average person is using, but I don't use it as much. Well, the reason ChatGPT is so valuable is not for really the answers that it gives, but it's because of AI visibility. Now, there's been a huge shift in the way that consumers are actually buying products. In the early 2000s, we had SEO. People were, introduced to the internet, and you had all these big companies like Amazon that grew because of it. But they were started buying products and services just by, going on the web, going on Google and saying, "Hey, I need a doctor. Hey, I'm looking for a local gym," or "Hey, what's the best home service CRM?" And then we were introduced to meta ads, right? And so people would be scrolling Instagram and they would start, they're like, "Oh, this is a really cool, CRM I need for my business. I'm going to go book a call or whatever." And now we're seeing users that are on ChatGPT are using ChatGPT to find products and services. For example, the other day, my mom was looking for a doctor and she found a doctor, and I asked her, "Hey, how did you actually how did you find it? Do you use Google?" And she was like, I use this app called ChatGPT." And that's when it kind of the light bulb went off, and I was like, "Holy shit!" People who are non-technical, like none of that, are super changing their position on how they actually their behavior patterns are changing. And instead of using Google, they're using ChatGPT. And in fact, leads that come from ChatGPT convert 4.4 times as likely if they were just coming from Google. Now, this is interesting because ChatGPT is positioning themselves kind of the same way that Meta does, right? When you go on Instagram or Facebook, it's more of like you see videos and you feel kind of that false connection, but you stay on it because it's a quick dopamine hit. And AI is starting to become the same thing. ChatGPT is trying to become your friend. It wants to basically help you with whatever. And in return, you trust AI, right? If AI tells you, "Hey, you should do XYZ," you're probably going to listen to it more. For example, if you're looking for someone to replace your fence and you go on ChatGPT and you say, "Hey, I'm looking for someone to replace my fence. They need to have this, 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 and this." And then AI will go scan the web and give you a super specific answer. And now what are you going to do? You're going to be like, "Oh, awesome. Click it, go to their website, book a consultation, and boom." Now, the thing is, this is so underrated because business owners have no clue that this is happening. People don't understand that Google and SEO and all these things is evolving into AI visibility, right? Google, in fact, realized this and they make $200 billion per year off SEO ads. What does that mean? That means that there is that much money being spent by business owners to show up whenever someone searches a keyword or product or whatever. And it's because it works, right? There's trillions and trillions of dollars generated just off Google. Now, what's happening is that is evolving. People say, they try to make this comparison that Google's dying. Google's not dying, it's evolving. In fact, they're cannibalizing Google with Gemini. When you go to Google, you start to see these AI answers. And that's because Google's realized that, hey, ChatGPT has created something that will make a lot of money for businesses because consumers, there's 800 million users at the time of this video on Chat GPT. Now, what's going to happen and what's already happening is they're using ChatGPT instead of Google to find products and services. And so if your business does not show up first or show up at all, in fact, then there's a big issue and you need to get that fixed. That's something I do in the link in the description. I have an agency called serviceLabs.ai, and I help business owners dominate and thrive and understand what is going on with AI and how can they benefit and stay ahead. Now, Next, we're going to have Claude, and I'm putting Claude at S tier. Why am I putting Claude at S tier? Because Claude is one of the best tools for a business owner. If you run a consulting practice, if you run a home service business, it does not matter. Claude gives you, think of Claude as like the Microsoft, right? And ChatGPT is more of the Google, more of the consumer, kind of your friend, more like a Facebook. Claude is more that technical thing that you can get really specific answers from. In fact, you can create projects within inside of Claude. So let's say I have a consulting business and I have a few different clients. What I would do is I would just take all of the information on each of those clients, create a project, and now I have a custom, chatbot or worker per each client that I'm working with to give me a way better quality of fulfillment than I could have just done it by myself. Now, additionally, if you're more technical, let's say you have a technical background, you're a coder, software developer, Claude Code has increased developers' output by 10 to 100x because it basically allows you to act as more of a management position instead of a technical developer, because Claude can do all of the legwork. Now, if you're a business owner and you're like, I'm not technical, I don't know how to code, I don't know how to do any of this stuff, that's okay, because Claude just introduced, at the time of this video, like 1 week ago, a tool called Claude Coworker. Now, what this does is it basically allows you to, any file you have, anything on your computer, it allows Claude to basically have complete access. And let's say you have a whole bunch of files on all of your maybe financials, all of your reports, and you have just a lot of files over like 10 years. What you can do is say, hey, Claude Code, organize all these files to, do XYZ. Or, maybe do a project where I want you to research all of the leads or all the emails across all my files and organize them into different, demographics, and then create an email sequence so I can follow up with all of them. Anything you think of, you can do with Claude. And if you're not using Claude, I encourage you to please just use Claude and ask it questions about your business. Maybe make some projects and just play around with it and get used to it. It is so helpful for a business. It'll allow you to make better decisions, and it'll allow you to build your business more efficiently. Next, we have N8N, and I am placing N8N on C tier. Why? Because N8N is great. If you're familiar with Zapier or Make.com, they're basically connectors, right? Let's say you have a Stripe account, you want to connect it into maybe your website or into your CRM, and there's not a easy way to do that. You can go ahead and connect those two APIs with Zapier or Make. Now, N8N is like a glorified version of that, and what it does, it allows you to do that, but also add custom tailored answers to that. Now, the reason I don't like N8N as much, and I used to use N8N a lot. I used to use it to build, automatic email sequences to follow up with clients. I used to use it as a type form. So when a lead was interested in one of my services, they would just fill in that information, and it would send them a personalized response, so it would automatically close them and book them into my calendar. And the issue with N8N is it's super complex and it's technical. You need to spend a lot of time. You need to invest a lot of time. And if you're the business owner, you're busy. You don't that's why you're watching this video. You don't have 40 hours a week to go play around with all these AI tools and figure out what's best and learn all these skills and do all this. No, you have a business to run. And N8N is just too technical, in my opinion, for business owners, and that's why it is on C tier. Next, we have Framer. Now, I'm placing Framer on B tier. What is Framer? Framer basically allows you to make your website. So let's say you look at your website and you're like, this is not that good. Framer allows you to basically go and look at all these templates of these websites. Let's say you have a software company. You can go find a template of a software company. It's really cool. Now you can take that template and you can place it on Claude Code or Lovable, which I will get into, and you can build a website within a matter of a few hours that looks like a $20,000 website, which is great. Not only that, but Framer has really good SEO and AEO. So if you're trying to build a website that will show up on ChatGPT or show up on Google, but that doesn't really matter anymore, Framer is going to be a really easy option, and it's pretty easy to use. Within a day, you can have a website up and running. Now, for the fun part, the best one, Lovable. And this is on, if I could put a tier up, this is on a tier up. Lovable has changed my life. And it's not only changed my life, but everyone that I have helped use Lovable, it has changed their life. For example, I helped a home service business. He wanted to build out some custom like D2D tools to track his whole, 20-person D2D team. And he wanted to see all their KPIs and have an AI tell them, hey, you need to do this, or hey, they list off all their objections for the day, their top objections. It will tell them, hey, based on the script, you didn't follow it and you didn't say XYZ. It basically acts as an entire sales manager, organizes everything, plans all their routes, does so much work, and their sales reps, guess what? Their output increased. And I don't know the specific numbers, but from what he's telling me, it's at least 2 to 3x, which is insane per person just off of building a custom tool with Lovable. And the cool thing with Lovable is if he wanted to go hire developers to go actually build that the old way, it would probably cost him $100,000 in 6-7 months, and it'd probably be kind of shitty. Lovable basically allows you to take any idea you have, any custom tool, maybe you want to start a software company, whatever you want to do, maybe a website, does not matter. It allows you to do it. Lovable's hands down the best AI tool out there by a long shot. And if you're a business owner, every business owner, and you cannot prove me wrong on this, every business owner will see such a tremendous amount of value from Lovable. It does not matter what industry you're in, what you're doing. There is probably some tool or something that you're like, I wish someone made this. Or in fact, you're like, I want to make this, but I don't understand software. I don't know any coding, and I don't want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and a whole bunch of many months and manage this team and do all like this is just absurd. Lovable allows you to build anything. Let's say you're maybe you're younger, maybe you're older, and you're like, hey, I work for this company, or hey, I have this company. I really want to create this CRM, or I really want to create this piece of software. What you can do is you can make a Google Doc. You can list off your idea, right? Be super specific. Go paste that into Claude and say, hey, make a prompt for Lovable to build this out. And then you take that prompt and you paste it in Lovable and watch what happens, and your mind will literally be blown. Not only that, but you can teach your team and your employees to, maybe you have employees like, hey, I wish we had this tool. Hey, I wish we had this tool. Hey, we're using this software, but it's $10,000 per month, and that's dumb. Why don't we just use Lovable? That's 100th of the cost, and in fact, it's going to be way better to go automate this or to go solve this problem. And teaching AI literacy and these AI tools to your employees will drastically increase their output, right? Let's say your average employee makes $200,000. Like per employee, they make about $200,000, or maybe let's shoot higher. They make about $500,000 per employee. If you can get them to make $1.5 million, a 3x with these AI tools, how much better would your business run? How much easier would it be to scale? How much easier would your life be if all of these pointless things that you have to do in your day-to-day could just be automated? Not only that, but let's say you're a business owner, maybe you're starting, maybe like you don't have that much cash, and you're like, I wish I had all these resources these big guys do. I wish I, knew these things. I wish I had these tools these big guys have, but it's tens of thousands of dollars and it's all these things. Now you can just build those tools in Lovable and probably make a better version that's currently out there and go license it out to your competitors. Anything you think of, any business idea, you can make on Lovable. There is multiple software companies that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars per month completely built on Lovable that took a couple weeks, and no code was written. No code. You don't need any technical experience. You don't need to know any of that, which is freaking awesome. Now, if you want to elevate your business and take it to the next level, go ahead and check out my agency. I come from running a small business, and I understand the pain points that go into it. It's extremely hard. But small businesses are the backbone of America. And now is our time to take over these big, bully enterprise businesses who just are not that good. And with AI, it gives us the leverage and the opportunity to do it, because small businesses who implement AI see on average a 7x increase. But guess what? Enterprise businesses who had AI, in fact, it usually hurts their value. Why? Because you're slow, outdated, and efficient. And now is going to be the greatest time ever for small business owners because AI is our fire, right? It's our asset, and it allows us to beat all of these bigger guys because they are slow, they are inefficient, and they are lazy. They are used to being at the top. And what does that do? It creates comfort. And what does comfort do? Comfort creates opportunity for those of us who are hungry and ambitious and really want to do something to go and just dominate our market and dominate our fields. Thank you for watching this video. If you took any value out of this, please leave a thumbs up. If you have any questions, happy to answer them in the comments below. And if you're a business owner looking to scale and go to the next level, go ahead and check the description or go to serviceLabs.ai. That is servicelabs with an S at the end, .ai. Cheers and continue crushing it.